Welcome to BASA Connects for the week of July 11th. I'm Ernie Morse with the Business Association of San Antonio, and along with my co-host, the perky Jen Bonoma.
Yes, I am. Boy, it's going to be a fun one.
There we go.
Yes. You just had to start us off that way, didn't you?
We really did. Yes.
Absolutely.
But, So, what's going on? What did we do this week?
What did we do this week?
Well, it's the beginning of the month. So
it's a holiday week.
It was a holiday. Well, it was more a holiday week than the beginning of the month was really more issue.
Yeah.
I went back through a lot of old business cards and reached back out and made a lot of old contacts. Talked to some people we hadn't spoken to in a while.
Well, that's exciting. Anything new and exciting, or
it's good to catch up. Got some referrals from some people that I hadn't heard from in a while, so I was excited about that.
That always is good.
But it was a week when we were going through events last week. We were noticing that there really wasn't all that much going on based on the July the 4th holiday. I hope everybody had a good 4th. So we had to we got to keep busy.
Yes.
We've got to keep growing our business. We've got to keep networking. We've got to keep our name out there. So yeah, spent a lot of time doing that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah. It was
I know.
fun.
It's always cool to go through old business cards. But one thing I've noticed, because I kind of did the same thing with the business cards and just going back and follow-up emails and stuff,
Right.
I would get a bounce back of they were on vacation. Or I couldn't get through to them on the phone because they were on vacation.
Yeah.
Or I learned a lot of people maneuvered into other positions in their company.
Uh-huh.
Or left the company.
Sure.
Which is, it's good to find that stuff out now, but now I'm kind of curious where they all ended up.
Well, and I found a couple of those too, and that actually generated a couple of new opportunities based on people who weren't part of our organization or we weren't really doing a lot of business with, who had gone to other places, and that created new opportunities for us to get out and talk to them about joining with their new company. So
right.
It's just it's important, and I am remiss on a lot of occasions whenever it comes to actually following up with people and keeping those contacts and keeping that Rolodex current more than anything else. You can usually catch up with business contacts, but you need to maintain a working relationship.
Oh, no doubt.
And that's I gotta kind of kick myself sometimes in terms of doing that.
Well, we always talk about the follow-up is the hardest.
Right.
And, that's part of the follow-up.
Right.
The other thing I want to point out is you may want to identify and explain what a Rolodex is, because, this new generation
That's a good point.
may not have a clue about what a Rolodex is.
That is a good point.
You want to go ahead and explain that?
A Rolodex is the thing that we used to put the cards in with the phone numbers, and even and as it evolved, email addresses later, because when we started using a Rolodex, nobody had an email.
No, not at all.
So that's how, because that used to be the only way to get in touch with people is you called or you dropped by.
That's right.
So
and it used to sit on your desk.
It did.
And it had a piece of paper, and you would just alphabetize.
Yeah, yeah.
So what we do now digitally.
So you had to be able to spell.
Mine was always, I just stapled the business card to it.
Well,
unless they gave me a special phone number, then I wrote that on the Rolodex.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought we might want to elaborate on that.
That's a good point.
It's funny how these things change.
Yeah.
I remember those stories.
There were big things. They took up a lot of space on the desk too.
Well, and if you recall, they started as a roll, but they would all fall off. Thank God somebody, went and did one where it kind of laid flat.
Yeah.
Although that's where it took up most of the space. But initially, it was a roller.
Yeah, those big old massive things. Yeah.
I just thought about it as you said. I'm like, I wonder how many people really knows what that means.
Well, I'm glad you're helping me bridge the generation.
There you go.
With our audience, that's why we have you to represent the younger generation.
Yeah, we have Nick to represent the younger generation. How many times have we asked him 100 questions after a podcast? What does that mean? Thank God for Nick.
So there we have it. So the word of the day is Rolodex.
There you go.
So now we know what that means.
There you go. I just thought I would share that. Sorry, went off on a totally different tangent. But I felt like we needed it.
Actually, that's not a bad point. It really isn't. It would have never occurred to me. So thank you for filling in the gap.
I guess we need to find out. So we'll find out and share this next week. Do they have a digital Rolodex, or is that what they call it?
I don't know.
So we have to figure that out. Nick, do we know that?
I don't know that.
Okay. So,
because
210-549-7190. Put that in your Rolodex and call us and tell us what
Yeah.
a digital Rolodex is.
Yeah. What do they really call that?
I don't know.
Because there has to be somewhere you put your names other than your cell phone.
It's in the cell phone, yeah.
Well, yeah,
That's-
but
that's
is there
the only
something
place
on the
it is.
computer?
I,
What would you keep on your desk?
I'm sure. I don't know everything. I've got a box this big of business cards.
You do realize we took like 10 minutes just to have this conversation about a Rolodex.
yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to check.
People are finding out what things are like in the good old
There you go.
days.
It's about marketing.
We're reminiscing.
Absolutely.
you
Marketing and advertising leads. And it goes back to networking, right? So
Sure.
that's how we kept our old business cards,
Yes.
and now you got to go through them, and I went through some, and we found out some people are gone and moved and adjusted.
Right.
And then we got to talk to new people who took their positions.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
There we go. And so now, this week, we're going to get back to actually meeting people in person. And we're going to do it a couple times before we come back on again. So,
Yeah, we got a lot.
First, Tuesday,
Okay.
which will be the 12th, that's going to be our happy hour mixer at Smash and Crab.
Which is tonight.
Yeah, it is tonight. You're right. Great point. It's the 11975 Alamo Ranch Parkway.
Right.
So it's their newest location. And am I right on that one?
It is their newest location.
Okay.
Part of our South to West chapter.
Yeah. So we'll be out there from 5 to 7. If you see this in time, jump on our website, sign up. Love to have you come out. Again, South to West and kind of venturing out in the Alamo Ranch area, which is a lot of fun.
I know.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I'm just having so much fun. I just came from that area, actually. It's pretty funny.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go. On Wednesday, the 13th, Helotes Chamber has their morning mingle, and that's going to be over at the First Watch
On Bandera.
at Bandera in 1604, just inside the loop, right?
Yes.
And that's 8:30 to 8 to 9:30. I'm sorry.
8 to 9:30,
8 to
yes.
9:30. Yeah. So get out there. And that's usually a neat event. They usually have pretty good turnout out there.
Oh, no doubt.
So, and if you're in that area, it's a free event. Come on out. Helotes Chamber will buy you a cup of coffee. Thursday, July the 14th, they're going to have a ribbon cutting. It's called Crash Our Party. It's at Rhino
Interesting.
Roofers, Advanced Jackson in 1604.
Oh,
That's
it's
at
a
4 o'clock.
businesses.
Yes.
Okay.
They
I was
call-
going to say, that's kind of
they-
an
and I
interesting
just saw
mixer
it.
name.
They said Crash Our Party, and they're doing a ribbon cutting out there for Rhino Roofing.
Oh, that's
So,
exciting.
yeah, it'll be, well, you like ribbon cuttings anyway.
I do. They're
So,
my favorite.
Advanced Jackson 1604. So
That sounds like-
that's a great place to get out and network. Good sized company. We've met some people from over there. They're pretty neat folks.
They are. If I'm not mistaken, she has my name.
Yeah. Yeah, she does.
Yeah, so she's got to be pretty cool.
Yeah, well, that's part of it.
Hater. I just want you to know I sat at an
My
event
sister has your
yesterday
name,
and I
too.
had 3 Ernies sitting
you
at the
really?
table with me.
Really?
I was like, are you kidding? I just felt like I was getting punked.
Really?
I was.
Okay.
I was.
Huh,
Yeah,
all right.
I'll share that with you in a little bit.
Okay. Well,
Seriously, 3 Ernies.
there are way more Jens than Ernie's.
Yes,
Yeah.
no doubt there. But there were 3 Ernies at this networking event I sat at.
We shouldn't tape on Friday because we're trying to get off topic whenever we do this late in the day.
I was at a
You're little
networking
punchy, I think.
event.
Yeah.
It's that whole
Right.
perkiness you were talking
Yeah,
about.
it's the perky thing.
Absolutely.
So on Saturday, July
Okay.
the 16th, we're going to have some fun, aren't we?
We are. I'm so
Yeah.
excited.
We're going to be out at the VFW Hall, 837.
Correct.
And we're going to have Christmas in July, BASA Bingo.
BASA Bingo.
BASA Bingo is going to be themed the 12 Days of Christmas.
It's themed Christmas in July.
Christmas in July.
We'll have some vendors out there.
Yeah. The vendors are going to get out there at 1 o'clock, and the bingo is going to start at 2:30.
Correct.
All right. We're going to have, and that's at 8:30 or 4436 Valleyfield Drive.
Yes.
Okay.
Right there where W.W. White meets Pecan Valley.
Okay. Anything else we want to talk about there? We
No.
talked about it a little bit last week.
I know, but I don't want to give all the secrets.
Okay.
So what we can tell you is we are giving back to the veterans there at the VFW. We've got the vendors that are going to be there, so you could do a little holiday shopping. There might be some surprise guests.
Okay.
And there's surprises throughout the whole day.
Okay.
So we suggest you come down and sign up.
Okay.
It'll be a lot of fun.
And we were out there about 4 or 5 months ago. Is that right?
Yeah,
We did another bingo out there.
Yeah, we do it like every 6 months.
Yeah, it's really just a neat atmosphere.
It really is, and it's you can sponsor a veteran to play if you can't
Yeah.
play. El Jefe's Pantry's out there cooking for us.
Yes. Yeah.
There's just so many different fun opportunities while we're there,
Yeah.
and just it just always a smile on our face.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's what's going on next week. Anything else that you know about that we need to talk about?
Gosh, what isn't going on? I mean, we have so many different activities, but right after that is Helotus is going to be doing their happy hour mixer at the new Stetson Saloon right there at 1604 in Bandera.
Okay.
So that's kind of cool. That's
yeah.
Well, that following week. Yeah. So I'll share that.
Okay.
I do know that off the top of my head. That's about the only other thing I know.
There we go. So lots of stuff going on. We're getting back into it now after the holiday weekend. So we're looking forward to that.
Yes, always.
For sure.
Always a good time.
So this week's topic,
is
we're doing the category specific thing. We've covered restaurants, we've covered the banking and finance industry.
Okay.
And this week we want to talk a little bit about the service industry. So in case you missed the last two, what we're talking about is how specific industries would network versus maybe other industries. So what traits would you use when you're going to a networking event if you're a part of a specific industry? And we're talking about the service industry. We're talking about the HVAC folks. We're talking about plumbers. We're talking about electricians. We're talking about roofers.
Okay.
So when they're going to an event, what specific challenges do they face? And we'll get our question pertains to this as well.
Okay.
But what makes networking for them maybe different from maybe the other two categories we've talked about?
The service industry as a whole has probably the hardest networking challenges. Because think about it. It's over 100-degree weather right now. And you're fixing somebody's air conditioning unit in their attic.
Right.
You're probably pouring sweat. The last thing you want to do is go and mix and mingle with people, so it's a tough scenario for them. The same with plumbers, you know. I mean, you've got pipes busting and you're playing in mud and trying to fix things, and next thing you know, you got to go to a networking event.
Right.
And then when you think of an electrician, he's probably got a little bit easier than the other two, but he's still out in the heat or dealing in attics or running walls.
Well, it could be contractors, builders, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Nick's works with the deck building company as well. I mean, that kind of thing is all part of it. And you're right, they're all out, and it's tough right now.
And it's miserable weather, And then when you think about a roofer, oh my gosh, you're up on a roof.
Right.
Holy cow! So. For those larger companies, it's probably okay because they probably have a designated marketing person that goes out and does their networking for them. But if you're a smaller business and you're one of the running a crew or part of a crew, the last thing you want to do is think about it. So that's why you want to go to the happy hour mixers, because there's usually a cold beverage. And then you always want to have some sort of change of clothes in the truck of the car, just to be able to make that change if you want to.
Right.
But, just being strategic, and this is where a variety of different networking events comes into play, Can they, if they're working in the morning, can they hit in happy hour? Is it that they're going to work later in the day, so maybe they need that breakfast?
Right.
Usually their breaks in the day, they probably aren't lunch folks.
Right.
So you've just got to be a little bit of everything for everybody. Sure. And service is just going to be one that takes the biggest hit on challenges on doing it. You see it with membership because they don't see the value in the membership because they can't attend the events.
Right.
And if you do get some, you're really lucky to have those industries as part of it. But the other part is creating a membership that allows them to still be interactive, but maybe interactive at their pace and not necessarily always going to the event. So they're probably the type, and I'm assuming, that probably prefer the digital components or the website interaction or, just being able to keep their name top of mind when needed compared to, let's go to this event and that event and this event. Because even if they have 30 minutes, the last thing they want to do is drive across town to try to get to an event.
Well,
would be my thought.
True enough. The one thing that I would say is that for this type of business, probably more important maybe than any other business from a frequency standpoint.
Oh, no doubt.
Because, just put yourself in front of other people as often as you possibly can. That's why these companies, you see the HVAC, they advertise so extensively through the search engines and things like that. Because when somebody needs you, they need you right away.
Right.
So I want everyone to have my business card. And if I've met them, I want to do consistent follow up because I want to be top of mind, because when they need someone, I want them to call me. And I don't want to show up at a networking event, and we talk about this all the time. I don't want them to show up at a networking event really looking to do the quick sale.
Right.
They really need to build. They need to build trust, and they need to network for the long term. But they've got to be there frequently. And you're right. It's a very, very difficult thing. But in their industry, maybe more so than any other, it's essential. You're right. If they have the marketing people, then they're going to be out. If I were running one of those companies, I would make dang sure my marketing person was at as many events as they could possibly be at.
And I totally agree with what you're saying. And this is where being a member is huge, but then being selective on what parts of the membership you utilize, because like you said, they do need to keep their name out there. Mm-hmm. But maybe it's, okay, well, I can't attend an event or I can't necessarily do this, but then make sure you're sponsoring that mixer, or make sure you're sponsoring that particular event. Or when they ask you, hey, do you have brochures for the goodie bags? Make sure your brochures are there so that your contact information is still relevant and it's in front of people. Yeah. But I as much as, don't get me wrong, we all know I love my networking and going to events, but the reality is that some of those events are just difficult for them based on the time of day and based on where it's located. Right. So also just being educated on multiple groups, as much as we all know, we love our BASA, right? But you want to be able to put your feelers out in multiple arenas because you don't know what's around you. Right. This is where, our good friend Mike with SA Business Calendar comes into play, because that day something may change in your schedule. It's a rainy day and you can't go and get up on the roof today or something, where you can look and say, okay, wait a minute, I can attend this event. Right. And being able to stay in tune. But your style has to be a little bit different and go more grassroots than on the attendance side. Right. And again, I dread saying that because I really believe you should be in front of people and that's how you build those relationships. But when you can't, you've got to be able to provide in other arenas to be able to do that. Yeah. Impressions are key.
Right, and then what we had talked about at the outset of the program about going back through the rolodex.
I love it.
Or whatever way you use to keep track of these things. Right. Let's do that on a regular basis, because if we can't get out to events, let's make sure that we're staying top of mind, whether it be email, phone calls, or that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And that's like you said, when with a smaller company where we're doing, we're up there hammering the shingles into the roof or whatever the case may be. Right. That's not always easy to do. But let's. This is where it helps to be organized and have some structure about you. Let's have a certain part of the week every week that we use to make our follow-up phone calls or do that. The other thing is that there are a lot of we've got a B&I group that we've been to that meets very, very early in the morning.
That's true.
So something like that might be right for you. I recognize that if you're a contractor, then you go to work early in the morning anyway, so maybe it's not possible, but that may be the type of event that would work for you.
Well, and another thing too, as we're sitting here, chatting about this and discussing it, I'm thinking the other aspect is when you're a member, and this just came up actually in one of the other networking groups or events I was at, is look at all of the benefits that membership gives you. Because, a lot of them have a social media component. Mm-hmm. I know we have a private Facebook page. Everybody is on Facebook. Let's be honest. At one point, somebody's scrolling it at least once a day. Post something. Yeah. Hey, don't forget, we're up here on this hot roof, and put a picture. Remind people that you exist. Yeah. It's an impression. Yeah. The other is your own social media page. What are you doing to engage there? Yeah. There's a ribbon cutting on there and, I don't feel like I need it. Yeah, you do, because it's another impression, so look at what you're signing up for when you're signing up and what are the extra perks that you get within that level of membership, and take advantage of those.
Absolutely. By all means, take full advantage of your membership, because we see that a lot. And that's one of the things that sometimes, sometimes it drives me crazy because we've got you've got a ribbon cutting out there, use it. Mm-hmm. And you're always telling me you can't make these people do this stuff. That's right. But I really want to.
I know. I know.
Because you really want you really want people to see max benefit. They've already paid for it. You want them to get value for their money. Exactly. As much value as you can possibly give them. So you're right. Make sure that that you've read through what all your membership actually entails.
Right. Well, I mean, even down to putting brochures and goodie bags.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, I don't know, 60% of our members do it.
Right.
And make sure we have goodies. We have 40% that don't. And
Right.
guess what? Those go to the business owners.
Right.
We hand it over to the business owner, or we hand it over to that member, and all your information is in there. Because just today alone, I've already received, and I'm going to say 5 text messages of, do you have so-and-so's contact information?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, it's in your goodie bag. It's on our website. It's on our Facebook page. And now I've got it for you as well. And that's the thing, is use your resources.
Sure.
I don't mind being the resource, but if I'm not available,
Right.
I don't want you to miss out on some good opportunities.
Right. Right. So, and we kind of got into this because a little bit, and maybe got ahead of ourselves a little bit, but our question of the week,
Right.
And that's actually a lot of times how we lead into these topics, is how do you make time for networking and marketing and sales if I'm in this industry? So in other words, this individual is not a big, large roofing company. It's probably somebody with a couple of employees that owns the company that actually has to get out there and do the hard stuff. So what do they do to make time?
My suggestion on that is, like, for example, BASA, I can use us as an example. Every Tuesday, one of our chapters has something going on.
Right.
So maybe on Tuesday, somebody else gets there earlier to let the crews out so that you can go to a breakfast.
Right.
Or somebody stays longer that day so they can go to, or somebody can go to the happy hour mixer.
Right.
So find your structure.
Yeah.
We know that our day is Tuesdays. If there's a group out there that piques your interest or something that catches your attention, find out when they meet, because a lot of them do meet around the same time. Somebody meets on the 15th of every month, or somebody's B&Is or every Wednesday morning or whatever. But work your schedule at work to make it work so that somebody can attend one of these events. And that would probably be the biggest suggestion I would have with it. But we all know, things happen and times change, and we love to have that. But then 6 people are sick, and 2
Storm
can't make
blows
it.
into town,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
we got a million things to do.
Right.
So that kind of thing is going to happen. But
right. But we all wake up every morning and have a plan. Just have a plan that week.
Well,
we try.
Yeah.
We try that on a Sunday.
Well, and I think a big part of this is managing yourself too.
Yeah, exactly.
And that doesn't necessarily come. I'm not necessarily speaking from a time constraint perspective. I'm thinking about what's your mindset about this. If I'm going to join a group, am I really joining a group?
Right.
I know that we've had some phone calls where people have joined the group, but they really didn't join.
Right, and that's true. Unfortunately,
and they come back at the end and say, well, we're not getting what we want to. Well, what's your participation level been?
Right.
And kind of getting off topic there, but my point being that if you're gonna join a group, really join a group. So if you can't make it a part of your schedule and prioritize, and sometimes you can't, and
right.
I'm not faulting you for that, but if you can't do that, then don't join the group.
Exactly.
If you're going to commit to it,
right.
Commit to being there and getting in front of people, because again, your industry, it's more key maybe than any other to be in front of people. If I've got a plumbing problem right now, I don't want to start looking for people. I want to have a phone number.
Oh, I don't blame you.
Most people feel that way.
Well, it's, plumbing, HVAC, any of those. It's either my house is really old and it's time, or holy cow, it's broke. Right. So you need to have that holy cow phone number. Right. So when it's broke, you can respond. But then, like you said earlier, you want to have it where you're building that relationship. So then when you know it's going, before it goes, you can start that conversation of, what's my best deal? What are my options? What can I do? And it's not that, decision making. Yeah. It's, okay, let me think it through and plan for it, decision making. So yes, you have to stay top of mind at all times. Yeah. And really that's every industry, but more so in these service industries for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And if possible, schedule an hour each week for networking.
I agree with that.
And again, we're not in that business, so I don't know your business and what's possible and what's not. But if it is possible, if you're going to join something and really commit to it, then let's do it. And maybe it's not networking with a group. Maybe it's going from business to business. Maybe it's making your sales calls or that kind of thing. But commit some time each week to do that, and let's keep your business growing that way.
I agree with that, definitely. So, and if not, then pay somebody to do it. There's plenty of media groups out there.
Yeah. Give us a call.
Or give us a call. Yes, absolutely. We don't mind helping.
And if you give us a call, you can call us at 210-549-7190. Or if you
still have to look at the notebook.
I do. But I said it twice this week.
You did. I'm really impressed with that. I have to admit.
Anything else? Thanks to Nick.
I know. We always have to thank Nick.
We do.
Yes. Game Day Media rocks.
Yeah.
Yes.
And John was nice enough. We hadn't seen him in a while.
I know. John is amazing as well.
We'll be having some fun with them at our golf tournament as well.
Yes. Always good time.
Moving forward.
Oh my gosh, so much.
There we go. That's next month.
I know. So what do you want to tell them?
Yeah. So until next week, have an eventful week.